All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It's August 12th. Here is your do now. What's the weirdest food you've ever eaten? And second question, what is the difference between positive, negative, and no correlation? I'm going to ask you to share that out loud. So first question, what's the weirdest food you've ever eaten? Put that in the chat. And then what's the difference between positive, negative, and no correlation? The alligator. An emu egg, interesting. Asparagus. I got another alligator, all right. Grasshopper, interesting. Squirrel, interesting. Wow, you guys are blowing away period one with the weird foods that you've eaten. Octopus. I should start asking y'all to rate these foods on a scale of 1 to 5 in addition to telling you what weird thing that you ate, because I'm very curious what grasshopper tasted like, very curious what an emu egg tastes like. Would you eat it again? Frog legs, okay. I've heard frog legs taste like chicken. Okay, interesting information, Noah. Good to know, good to know. Guinea pig, okay. Grasshopper, oh, another grasshopper, okay. One more minute. All right. What is the difference between positive, negative, and no correlation? What's the difference between positive, negative, and no correlation? What do you have for me, Lexi?
A positive correlation is when most of the dots on a scatter plot go up together. Then a negative is when most of them go down, and then no correlation is when they're all over the place.
Beautiful. Yep, exactly. Any questions for Lexi about number 2? Cool. All right, let's go ahead and do our good things for today. So today's good things are coming from Gavin, Henry, and Ida. So Gavin, what's your good thing?
I got a new bed.
You what?
I got a new bed.
You did? Exciting. Did you get a bigger bed?
Yeah.
Cool. So now you're super well rested. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Henry, what's your good thing?
I had family in town yesterday.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Love family time. That's great. Thanks for sharing. And then Ida, what's your good thing?
I got my nails done the other day.
Got your nails done the other day. Can we see them?
Oh, sure, I guess.
Okay. Ooh, look at that. Very cool. I like the color.
Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with today's agenda. Quick reminder for those of you that do not have your video on, make sure to turn your video on so I can see your lovely faces. And then 2, Today we are working with our graphing calculator, so make sure you grab that if you haven't gotten it out yet. I'll give you a minute to get it out. We're gonna spend a couple days, I think probably 2 days, on this graphing calculator stuff, just because it does take some time to get used to, and because we're not in person, it takes a little bit more time for me to troubleshoot and like answer your questions about any issues you might be having. So just a heads up, the next 2 days we're gonna move a little bit slowly through our graphing calculator stuff. If you do not have a graphing calculator, you need to send me an email and let me know what the issue is and like when you think you're gonna get it, or if you're having an issue getting it at all. That's totally fine. We can work out something so that you can still participate. But if you do not send me an email, then I'm going to hold you accountable to doing the work with the graphing calculator. So you can't wait till next week and be like, sorry, Ms. Bogwat, I didn't have a graphing calculator, so I couldn't do it. You need to let me know like today if you're gonna have an issue getting your graphing calculator by next week. The assignment for the graphing calculator will not be due until next week, so you'll have a whole week. So let's say that you're ordering it on Amazon and it still hasn't arrived yet. I'm giving you that grace period of a week, but if you have not communicated anything to me before the due date, then I'm going to assume that you're good to go with your graphing calculator. Okay? All right, cool. There's 2 pieces of paper that you should have downloaded from Canvas today. One was the calculator instructions and one was the notes. If you did not get the calculator instructions, then I want you to at least pull it up on Canvas. Even if you don't have it printed out, you should still be able to see it. Anyone need help finding this on Canvas? Anyone need help finding this calculator instruction sheet on Canvas? Okay, that's sheet number 1. The second sheet of paper is the notes. So you should have notes that look like this. Any questions before we get started? All right, let's go.
Where's the paper at?
Which paper? The notes,
The
calculator instructions.
calculator.
So if you go to Canvas, let's see. Let me get my Canvas up. All right, so if you go to current lesson, do you see under August 12th where it says calculator instructions?
Yeah.
There it is.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions before we get started? Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So we've got a review from Monday. So remember on Monday, we talked about scatter plot and how you can find the line of best fit. So first you have to plot the points, then you have to draw a straight line through as many points as possible. Pick 2 points that are on the line, find the slope. Then once you find the slope, you're gonna put it back into y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 and solve for y. Does anyone remember any issues that we might have had with doing it by hand? You can go ahead and unmute yourself and share out loud. Were there any issues that we had by doing it by hand? Anyone see any issues that might come up by plotting and finding the best fit line by hand?
We had to guess some of the points.
Yeah, absolutely. You had to guess which points were the best fit. And if you remember from that last problem we did together as a group yesterday, everyone had different slopes and everyone had different equations because it all depends on which 2 points you choose. So that's the problem with doing it by hand. So there is an easier way, and that's the focus of this whole course, is how do we use this graphing calculator? How do we use technology to create accurate models of data. So that's really useful in the real world as well, because a lot of data analyst positions, you get just the data, but you're supposed to create accurate models and use that to predict information in the future. So it's a useful skill, even if you think that sometimes you might be like, math is stupid, it doesn't make any sense, and I'm not going to use it in real life. Not the case. It's not the case. All right, so there is an easier way, and we're going to talk about that today and tomorrow. Before we get started, a key vocab term that you want to keep in mind is the correlation coefficient. The correlation coefficient is a number R that ranges from -1 to 1 that indicates the strength of a linear relationship. The closer R is to 1, the stronger the linear relationship. So if you think about that scatter plot and what Lexi was talking about with negative and positive correlation, the closer the points are together to form a line, the closer your R will be to 1. So if you see like an R that's 0.9 or 0.8, that's a really strong linear relationship. That means your points are clustered in a line. However, if you see an R that's close to 0, like if you see a 0.1, that means your points are all over the place and there's no real correlation. If R is positive, the slope is also positive. If R is negative, the slope is also negative. All right, so let's go ahead with example 1. Our data set is talking about Florida median home prices going from 1940 all the way to 2000. So what is the home price for each year? It tells you to let 1940 equal 0. So what that means, we're going to relabel the years, but instead of putting in the years, we're going to start with 1940 being 0. So next to 1940, go ahead and write 0. So that means we have to relabel all of these years. So 1950 is 10 years after 1940, so we're going to put a 10 over there. 1960 is 20 years after, so we're going to put a 20. 1970 is 30 years after, so that gets a 30. 1980 is 40 years after, so write 40, then 50, then 60. Any questions about how to relabel your years? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take out our calculator instructions because we're going to start on our calculator. During this time, because normally if we were in person, you could raise your hand and I can come over and check your calculator and fix it for you. It's going to be a little bit slower virtually. So if you're having issues with your calculator, please stop me and I'll help you figure out what the issue is. Do not wait until the end after we've done all the steps to be like, oh, actually in step number 1, it wasn't working for me. So please, please, please stop me if you need help. We'll work our way through every question. There will be questions because this is new and it takes some time. So please don't hesitate to stop me if you need help. Okay, any questions before we get started?
I have a TI-36 Pro instead of a 84.
That will not work. Unfortunately, like we can spend some time during office hours and maybe like figure it out. I have never used a TI-36, so I don't really know the instructions, but yeah, you want a TI-84 or a TI-83. Any other questions? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So your first step is to turn your diagnostic on. So the way that you read these instructions, anything that's in a box, that's a button that you have to press. And anything that's not in a box, that's what you're gonna see on the screen. So box is a button, not boxed means that's what you see on your screen. So the first thing we have to do is turn our diagnostics on. And the reason we do this is to get our R value. Because remember, the R value is the correlation coefficient. It won't show up unless you turn on your diagnostic. So you're going to hit second function, which is this blue button right here. And this is what shows up on your screen. And then you're going to hit 0. And you're going to get a screen that looks like this. Does anyone need help getting the catalog screen? Okay,
Do that again.
so you're gonna hit second function, the blue button, and then you're gonna hit 0, and you should get a catalog screen. You get it, Nick?
Yeah.
Now you're gonna scroll down until you get to diagnostic on. So scroll all the way down till you get to diagnostic on. And make sure the arrow is next to diagnostic on. Does anyone need help getting to diagnostic on? All right, once you get to diagnostic on, hit enter and then hit enter again, and it should say done. Does anyone need help with that step?
Mine doesn't say that.
What is
We press enter twice.
enter twice? Yes, for Salam, and then Conrad, can you show me what yours says?
It's like it doesn't say diagnostic on it. Can't find that.
You have a TI-83 or a TI-84?
I don't know what type of, I don't know what type this is. It's a graphing calculator.
That's it. Let me see it. That's a sign. That's a Casio, I believe. So you want a TI, a Texas Instruments.
All right.
It looks like a, and it also, is it a graphing calculator? Because it looks like a sign. Yeah, that's it. Go, or push it down so I can see the top. Further. Yeah, that's a Casio. So that's going to be slightly different instructions. So the same thing I told Jeremiah, we would probably have to meet during office hours to figure that out. So these instructions don't fit with a Casio. There's a way, I just don't know it off the top of my head. All right, so once you get diagnostic on, anyone still need help with that? All right, the second thing you gotta do is turn the stat plot on. So now we're on step number 2. So you wanna go to y equals, and then you wanna go up to plot 1. So make sure that plot 1 is highlighted, and then press enter. So the black box should highlight plot 1.
Huh?
So we're gonna go back to, so if you're at diagnostic on, you've done that, hit y equals. Then scroll up, so the black box should be on plot 1. And then press enter so it's highlighted. Anyone else need help with that step? All right, next you're going to hit second, so hit the blue button. And then hit y equals again. So you should get a screen that looks like this. So hit the blue button and then hit y equals again. Does anyone need help getting to this screen?
Can you say that again?
Hit second and then hit y equals again. Anyone need help with this to get to this screen? All right, once you get to this screen, mine says plot 1 off. A lot of yours probably also says plot 1 off. You want to change it so that it says plot 1 on. So the way to do that is you're going to press enter. And then you should see this black box hovering over on. Press enter again, so now that it's switched over to on. Does anyone need help getting it to be on?
Can you say that again?
Okay, so you got, when you go to plot 1, you want to, if yours is on off, you want to do the left arrow so that it goes over to on and then press enter. Anyone else need help with that? To check that it worked, hit second and then y equals, and now it should say plot 1 on. Does anyone still need help saying plot, for it to say plot 1 on? Okay, we're gonna move on. So this is where things get exciting. So now we're on this step right here with stat edit 1, enter x values in L1, y values in L2. So from here, we're gonna hit this button right here, stat. So stat is right under delete. So hit stat. So you should get a screen that looks like this. Anyone need help with that? All right, once you get to that screen, you're gonna hit 1 for edit. And you should see a screen that has L1, L2 at the top, and blank spots for your numbers. If you have numbers that are in there, like let's say I had a 5 in there, you just hover over and press delete, and that will cancel it for you. Anyone need help getting this blank screen right here? All right, from here, we're gonna type in your L1 and your L2. So your L1 is all of your X values. So in this case, it's the years. But don't put in 1940, 1950, 1960. You wanna put in 0, 10, 20, 30, so on and so forth. So let's start with 0, so press enter. What you need to do to put the value in is you need to type in 0, and then you need to type in enter, and that will put it up into L1 for you. And then we're gonna do 10 and press enter, 20, press enter, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Does anyone need help getting your L1 values in? Anyone need help with L1? All right, now we're gonna plug in the Y values in for L2. So you're gonna start with 23,100. So go ahead, and to get to L2, you're gonna press the right arrow. So that will jump it over to L2, and then start with 23,100. So type that in, and then press enter, and it should pop up under L2. And then we're gonna do 40,100, press enter, 58,100, press enter, and keep going until you get to 105,500. You can always check, so I always tell students to check at the end, make sure the last 2 points line up, so you should have 60 and 105,500 lined up. If they're mismatched, that means you probably forgot to type in a value and you should go back in and fix it. But it looks like mine is matched all the way, so we're good to go. Does anyone have any questions to get L1 and L2 typed up? Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is, so we just did this step right here with stat edit, and this is where the real magic happens. So this is where your graphing calculator is gonna do all the hard work of choosing the points, finding the slope, and finding the y-intercept all for you. So what you're gonna do to do that is you're gonna hit stat, go over to calculate, and then hit 4 for linear regression and press enter. You don't have to memorize all that. I'm just showing you we're doing this step right here. Stat over to calculate. So from here, you're gonna hit stat. So you'll get to a screen like this. So hit stat so that you can get to this screen. Then we're gonna press the right arrow so that it's highlighted over calculate. Does anyone need help getting to this point right here?
You said press stat.
Yep, so press stat and then go over to calculate. Anyone else need help? All right, next you're gonna hit number 4 for the linear regression AX plus B. So hit 4. And this is where different calculators might show you a different screen. So my calculator shows you a screen like this. For some of you, it's just gonna show linear regression AX plus B. That's fine. If you have a calculator that looks like mine, you're gonna go all the way down to calculate and press enter. If yours just says linear regression at the top, you can just press enter. So either way, if you have this screen, go down to calculate and press enter. If you don't have this screen, just go ahead and press enter. And it's gonna give you these numbers. Does anyone need help getting these numbers? So it should give you an A, a B, and R squared is an R. And your numbers should match my numbers.
I didn't get that screen.
Can you show me what's coming up on your screen? Who am I talking to?
Tyler.
Tyler, yeah, let's see if I can get my Zoom. Why is it not showing? Tyler, go and unmute yourself. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. I want to see your screen specifically. Tyler, go and show it to me again. Okay, let me zoom in. Let's see. Yeah, so just press enter, Tyler. And then show me what you get.
Okay, I think I got it. Let's really click something. Okay, yeah, I got it.
Got it. Anyone else need help with this step right here to get these numbers? Okay, let's go ahead and write these numbers down on our notes. And so for linear regressions, it's very common for you to get long decimals, and that's okay. What you need to do is round it to the nearest hundredth. So A is equal to 1,411.43. I'm going to round it up. B is equal to 25,114.29. I'm going to round that one up too. And then I don't really care about the R squared. You don't have to worry about the R squared. You do worry about the R. So the R is 0.98. That means that this is a really good model because my R is very close to 1. So that means that this is a linear relationship. Any questions so far? So for part A, when you find the equation of the line, you'll notice at the top it has the equation of the line for you. Y equals AX plus B. So to fill in our equation, all we have to do is plug in the A right here and the B right here. So it's going to be Y is equal to, instead of A, I'm going to write 1,411.43 X plus, instead of B, I'm going to write what the calculator gave me for B. So 25,144.29. So basically what we just did was that whole slope and then the point slope formula, what we did by hand, the calculator just gave that to us. We just had to follow the steps. Any questions about part A of how to find the equation of the line with the calculator?
So what's the R for?
The R tells you how close you are, how close the points are to a line. So 0.98 is very close to 1, which means that when I look at my graph, which we'll do in just a second, they're going to be clustered together in a positive line. If my R was like 0.1 or 0, that means that my points are all over the place and it would be hard to draw a line through them. All right, so yeah, so let's look at what our graph is going to be. So we just finished this step right here. So now we're on this step right here where it says y equals bars 5 and then the arrow over to the EQ1. So that's where we're at right now. So here's where your calculator screen should be. It should still be on these numbers. You're going to hit y equals first, and you should get to this screen. There should be nothing in the y1. So if you have numbers in the y1, go ahead and hit clear right here to get rid of any numbers. So you should have a blank screen. Anyone need help getting to this screen? All right, once you get to y equals, you're going to hit bars. Bars is right here next to clear. Any questions about how to get to this screen? Then we're going to hit option number 5. So hit 5. So you'll get to this screen right here. Now we're going to go over to EQ. So press the right arrow until you get to EQ. That should be highlighted. And we're going to press 1 for regression equation. It's going to pop you back to the Y1, but this time it's automatically inputted the equation for you. Does anyone need help to get to this screen?
Yeah, so you were at VARs, then what did you click?
So when you're at bars, hit 5.
Uh-huh.
Go to 5 and then go over to EQ. And then hit 1. And it should plug that equation back into Y1 for you.
Okay.
Anyone else need help with this?
What? How do you go back?
How do you go back from bars?
Yeah.
So you're at Y1, you're going to hit bars, then hit option number 5, then go over to EQ and hit option number 1. Any other questions? All right, here's where things get interesting. Now we're going to get to see the graph. So now we're on this step right here. So graph, zoom, 9. So you're going to hit graph, which is all the way here in the top right corner. Hit graph. And you'll just see a screen that looks like this. It's not super interesting. And the reason why is because this current graph is just a 10 by 10. But you'll notice that our points, they're in the thousands, so they're not showing up right now. So to get your graph to recenter around your table of values, you're going to hit zoom. So that's this middle button right here. And then you're going to go to option number 9. So either you can scroll down to 9 or you can just hit 9 for zoom stats. And it should show up with all of your points. So those are your scatter plot points, and then the line of best fit will go through it. So that's what we did by hand on Monday. So now your graphing calculator is doing that work for you. It's plotting the points and it's drawing the line through them. Does anyone need help to look at the graph?
Mine just says syntax error.
Okay, let's see. Go back, probably a y equals situation. So go to y equals.
All right.
Clear everything from the y. So it should be blank. Is yours blank?
Yeah.
Okay, now go back to bars.
Okay.
Hit option 5. go over to EQ,
Mm-hmm.
and then hit 1. So does it now pop the equation back into y1 for you?
Yeah.
Okay, now go ahead and hit graph. Did it work?
No, it still says syntax error.
Can I see your graphing calculator screen? Hang on, I can't see it from the, okay. Can you click number 2?
Okay.
And then what does it show you?
I don't think you could see it.
Okay, so do you see at the bottom, so like at Y8, there's just some random gibberish there?
Yeah.
So clear that out, and then try hitting graph again. Don't clear Y1 though, just clear Y8.
Then graph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, so the issue was that you had something in the bottom that hadn't been cleared yet. Anyone else have any questions? Okay,
I'm lost.
you're lost. What part did you get lost at?
So after I went to EQ,
Uh-huh.
where do I go?
So you're right here, right? So you have to hit option 1. Did you hit 1?
Yeah.
And then did you get the equation over here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I got more than that.
That's okay, because what's happening is your graphing calculator, it doesn't round it. It just puts the whole thing in for Y1, and that's fine. So now you're going to go to graph. So hit graph. Wait for it to load. And then hit zoom. And then number 9. And it should show up. Did it show up?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Any other questions before we move on? Okay, lastly, we're gonna do part B. So it says, find the price of a home in 2019. Find the price of a home in 2019. So basically they want you to use this equation that we just came up with to figure out the price of a home in 2019. This is a year, so we know it's an X value. So we know 2019 is gonna be an X value. But the problem is we didn't plug in our years as is. We switched it so that 1940 was year 0 and then 1950 was year 10. So when we talk about 2019, we also have to find out how many years since 1940 is 2019. So I'll go ahead and ask for a volunteer for this question. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you can tell me, what should I change 2019 to? What year should it be? What should my X value be? In other words, how many years after 1940 is 2019?
79.
Yeah, and how did you get 79?
I did 2019 minus 1940.
So 2019 minus 1940, that's going to give you 79. So your X value should be 79. So that's what we're plugging into the equation. The equation is y is equal to 1,411.43, but instead of X, I'm plugging in 79 plus 25,144.29. That's the biggest mistake, is that I see students plug in 2019. Make sure you go back through the problem, and if you have to switch it, switch the X value. All right, so your graphing calculator is still set on this screen. So to get rid of the graph, you're gonna hit second and then hit mode, which is right next to it. So again, if you're at the graph, hit second, hit the blue button, and then hit mode. And we're just gonna plug this in as is. So I'm gonna do 1,411.43. I'm gonna put parentheses around the 79 plus 25,144. And that's going to be your answer. So any questions about how we got that? So the price of a home in 2019, don't forget, since this is a real world problem, you want to make sure you include real world units. So we're talking about price, so we're talking about dollar value. It's going to be $136,646.97. Questions on that? Let me just make sure I didn't make an error because I think I might have typed in something wrong. Did I?
I got a different answer.
Yep, I typed.
I got 136647.26.
Yeah, you guys are right. I think I plugged in something wrong. This is what you got, right? That's better?
Yeah.
Okay, that was my bad. I think I accidentally typed something in wrong. So, making all sorts of mistakes today. There we go. All right. Just double check. That looks good. Okay. All right. I know that took a long time, but it will get faster as we get more practice using the calculator. So we'll do the rest of the examples tomorrow. Let me just go over your homework for tonight. So the first thing that I'm going to go over, let's get the slides up. So remember that you have your quiz. It's a quote quiz. It's not a real quiz. This is a new feature on Big Ideas Math that I have not used before. And I know some students emailed me saying that it's been hard and like some of the questions that you've gotten have not been gone over in class. And the way that Big Ideas Math works, the quiz feature, it's all random, so I can't choose the problems before I assign it. So this is just kind of a trial run for me to see if this is even a good platform to use. So try your best on it. I'm going to see what the scores are once I get them, and if they're all really bad, then that's not your fault, and I'll just give you a completion score. So don't stress too much about it. If you don't know something or you know that we didn't go over it, you can skip it. That's okay. I'm just trying to figure out if this is a good system to use. And if it's not, that's fine. Thank you for helping me figure that out. We'll figure out something else to do instead of the quiz. But at least try it out. That's all I ask you. So try your best, try it out so that I can get an accurate understanding of whether it works for us or not. Any questions about the quiz? But big thing, do not stress about it if you don't know the answer. Like I said, it's just giving you random questions. I didn't get a chance to see them before, so it might be stuff that we haven't gone over. If that's the case, just skip the question and do whatever you can. Okay? The second part is the 1.3 assignment, part 3. So that's the graphing calculator assignment. That won't be due until next Thursday, August 20th. So you have a full week to do that. That should give you enough time to get a graphing calculator if you haven't gotten one yet. So keep that on your radar. You can start it tonight if you're really excited and you can't wait to use your graphing calculator, but you don't have to turn it in until Thursday. We're going to use the same notes for tomorrow so that you don't need to print out anything extra for tomorrow. Any questions before we leave? Okay, I'll stick around till the end of the period, but you're welcome to log off. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm going to need help on my homework that I need to catch up with.
Okay, I have office hours Monday after school and Friday morning. Which one works for you?
Friday morning.
So I'll log in at 7:15. Do you know where to find the link for the office hours Zoom?
No.
Okay, so if you just go to my Canvas, where'd it go? Let's see, one sec, sorry. If you go to my Canvas homepage, there it is, okay. Do you see at the bottom, if you scroll down to where it says office hours, just log into that at 7:15 on Friday and we'll work through them. Cool. Denim, Naya, can I answer any of your questions?
For Big Ideas Math, I was in Mr. Riley's class, so would I have to make a new account for yours?
You have to create a new account, but you do need to, so you have your login already?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just need a login for my class. So are you able to look at my Canvas yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go to class resources, you see where it says sign up for Big Ideas Math. You have to download that PDF. And let me open that for you real quick. So if you go to Big Ideas Math, there we go. On the left where it says, I remember my Big Ideas username and password. So you remember your password. So you're going to follow those instructions. So log in, click your name in the top right, click add class, and then you're going to need to enter this class code for period 2, which is TS2347ZA and ZSS5.
Okay.
So you won't see any assignments yet because I'll have to go ahead and reassign you this stuff. But did you already do work in Mr. Riley's class?
Yeah, I did a couple assignments.
Okay, so I'll just talk to him because it doesn't really make sense for you to redo it. So I'll get the grades for the stuff that you've already done. And then whatever the 2 assignments are for today, I'll assign those to you.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.